A very good evening to this August gathering and a very warm welcome to ELTAI Webinar 104. This is the moderator for the webinar, Priyanka Bhatkoti, Principal Maxfort Dwarka, New Delhi, who would like to welcome the August panelists for today, starting with Ms. Meenakashi Goswami, Principal, CNS Higher Secondary School, Tezpur, Ms. Jainus Jacob, Teacher, Kendriya Vidyalaya, Thrissur, and Mr. Prakash Patidar, who is a lecturer in Government Expense Higher Secondary School, Shajapur. A very warm welcome to this August gathering of teachers, and today we are in August company. Each one of these panelists is a teacher of great repute, of great dedication, and these are national awardees, and Fulbright scholars, and many creative geniuses amongst them all. First and foremost, I would like to start with thanking ELTAI for bringing this wonderful glitterati across to all of us. And let's look into what ELTAI does for all of us. This is ELTAI Webinar 104. We are interacting with National Awardee Teachers out here. Let's look at the work and the path-breaking work that's being done by ELTAI in the form of a video that introduces ELTAI to all of us. That was the wonderful work being done by ELTAI in a glimpse for all of us here. Uh, Before we start our interactions with the wonderful panelists for today, a couple of guidelines for all the attendees here. We can converse with each other through the chat box. We request you not to post any personal information in the chat box, like your mobile numbers or your email IDs. The queries or your comments are most welcome. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of motivating thoughts while the discussions are on. We'll start with the program by introducing our luminaries. I'm going to start with Meenakashi Goswami Ma'am. She's the proud recipient of National Awards to Teachers 2022, given by Her Excellency, the President of India, on 5th September 2022. That's Teachers' Day. And she's the principal of CNS Higher Secondary School, Tezpur, in Assam. She is, amongst other things, a very strong administrator, a creative genius who's written a lot of books, won a lot of awards, achieved a lot of successes in life out here. The two books which we can look forward to reading after this interactions are The Sensuous Zephyr and The Waltzing Words. Yes, her poems have been translated into numerous languages out here. Meenakashi ma'am, a very warm welcome to you. Our next panelist for today is Jainus Jacob ma'am, and she's somebody who's multifaceted. She's a teacher in the prestigious Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan for the past 26 years, and she's a second-time national awardee, and she's a national level resource person in ICT and a Fulbright scholar to boot. She has been on she's participated in teachers exchange programs to Japan, and obviously as a Fulbright scholar with US teachers out there. Jainus ma'am, we do hope to learn tremendously through our discussions that we're going to hold with you. Next, we have with us Prakash Patidar, sir. He's a lecturer in biology from the Institute of Government Excellence Higher Secondary School, Shajapur, MP. He has won National Award to Teachers 2022. He's a recipient of the State Awards to Teacher in 2019. He's a National ICT Award winner in 2017. He's a state-level Innovative Science Teacher awardee in the year 2017, and he works especially in the region of diversity, or rather biodiversity, with students out there, ensuring that the lessons do not remain just limited to the classrooms, but are practiced beautifully to make this a wonderful world outside as well. So, my first question to each one of the illustrious panelists that we have today is that please introduce yourself along with sharing one of your motivating journeys out here. What has motivated you to be teachers? And yes, if these can be anecdotal, we will be very grateful. We would look forward to starting with Meenakashi Goswami ma'am. Yes?
So, hello, good evening to everyone. So, I am really thankful for ELTAI for having me amongst you. And yes, I have been into this teaching job for the last 34 years. This is my 34th year. And of course, in the same school. Before that, of course, I was also as an ad hoc teacher in Kendriya Vidyalaya here in Tezpur itself, in Air Force Station. So, and yes, my father was a principal of B.Ed College here in Tezpur. Of course, he expired at a very early age of just 53 long years ago. That means it was in 1989. And he was the inspiring person who has led me to this teaching job. Of course, my mother was also a teacher here in Tezpur St. Joseph's Convent. Of course, I was doing my schooling in Shillong, in Meghalaya. There, my father was a lecturer there. And after that, I somewhat liked to be amongst children, and that itself inspired me to move on with this teaching job. And I work in a rural school. So the children are very poor, and very poor. Very poor means, yes, they are literally poor, and they come from their background is basically agriculture. So they are into farming, and with very little income and all. So then still, since I'm a convent educated, I never felt bad working in a rural school. I was amongst them. I am still with them, inspiring them, helping them. And yes, that's what inspired me to be a teacher, and I'm enjoying it. Out and out a teacher. Though I'm into administration now for the last 6 years, I'm the principal of the same school. So that
Meenakshi ma'am,
led
you've
me.
risen and you had your own parents as role models, a father who
Yeah,
led the B.Ed college. I'm sure there was a wonderful learning for you, not just in the classroom, but at home as well, each step of the
yeah,
way. Yes. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
With that, we move over to Jainus Jacob, ma'am. And ma'am, my query to you is the same. What are the motivating influences from your life out here which have helped you reach this level of success?
At the outset, I would like to say good evening to everyone. And thank you so much for the invite. And answering to your question, I always wanted to be a teacher. Maybe for different reasons. When I was at school, I had a very stylish and a very stylish teacher. I can say that. Looking at her, I used to always think that I should also become a teacher, though I did not know the exact reason or exact work done by a teacher. Later, I cleared an entrance for the RI Mysore, and that's a training college, teacher training college. And when I got into the college, that's when I realized teaching and the profession as a teacher is not just about style. It's not just about imparting knowledge. It's actually, you should touch the heart of the children, and you should reach out to them. That is actually what a teacher is. A teacher and a teaching is all about, and teaching is all about. And now it's really because we are in an age of artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. Whether teaching and teachers are relevant or not, that depends on us to make the presence. We have to make our presence felt, and we must, as I said, we must not just impart knowledge. We must actually connect books and knowledge with the children, and that connection should come through us. So that's how my profession is all about.
Janice, ma'am, we welcome the spontaneity. It is true that either we choose our profession or it is a coincidence. We are happy that in your case it was a conscious choice, and a choice which you've made a great success of. We are happy that here, in all honesty, you've come across that the teacher who impressed you was somebody who was very stylish. So that brings to the fore that there are so many elements that go to inspire us. Yes, it takes a great deal of courage to come on camera and say that. And yes, in our school days, we've all been impressed by teachers and the kind of styles that they carried with them, be it the dressing style, be it the speaking style out there. And very, very importantly, what you've brought and what you started is how to engage students. Yes, not just books, but it takes a lot more. So Jainus ma'am, thank you so much for that wonderful insight into your life's journey. And now I'd like to come over to Om Prakash sir. Om Prakash sir, you've done a lot of work, yes? And biology is a very, very interesting subject. It is something which is hands-on because practicals are very important. Project-based learning, experiential learning, everything can be wrapped up into it. We'd like to know about your motivating factors in life.
Namaskar to all of you, and I would like to thanks ELTI that give me this prestigious stage to tell something about me. First, I want to say that I have problem in speaking in English. Actually, I am from Madhya Pradesh, where the language is Hindi, and definitely I will try to express myself using English as well as Hindi. Definitely, as we know, the teaching profession is the mother of all professions. This is the motivation I have joined as a teacher. And in ancient mythological characters, just like Chanakya, they were the teacher and serve the nation. And being a teacher, uh, it is the only profession that we can serve the nation, we can serve the society with lots of respects. This motivate me to become a teacher. As ma'am you tell about the biology teacher, actually biology is the subject everyone like to, about us, about the plants, about all kingdoms. This subject provide opportunity to interact with all livings. This motivate me to being a teacher.
Great. Motivation from real life as well as from our ancient times out there. You brought Chanakya to the fore. He schooled, generation of kings out there, yes, and
Yes.
changed the history of India in so many ways. Not just what was prevalent at that time in politics, but the treatises that he has written still, I think, are very relevant and will continue to be relevant through ages out here. Prakash sir, also you've brought and started the dialogue on how, teachers may have struggles. We may struggle to get the right language to reach across to with students, but teachers never give up, yes? And over here, the bilingual and the NEP is talking about the multilingual approach out there. And you've been already a practitioner of the same, and that could be the reason why you're so successful with students, because you reach across to students in the language that the students understand, yes, over here.
Yeah.
So let's move on with this discussion further. And I'm going to now come over to Meenakshi ma'am. And my request to all panelists now is to share the best practices that you have imbibed in your life's journey. The best practices that you've practiced in the classroom. The best practices that you may have,
Okay.
to make your life very enriched out here. So I would start with Meenakshi Goswami ma'am. And in the meantime, I request to all panelists and others, if one of us is invited to speak, the others will mute our mic so that there is no echo or technical interference. Meenakshi ma'am, over to you with your best practices. And we would love for you to share a couple of administrative best practices as well, because in the teacher's journey, there's a lot of administrative work as well. Yes? So over to you.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So as we all know that the 5 main best practices is that we follow it with anticipating, then monitoring, then selecting and sequencing, and of course connecting. And in my case, we have set the goals to how to achieve the best in the child. We have to, I actually tell the teachers as of now, since I'm into the administrative seat, so I tell the teachers to find out what are the innate qualities of my children. Let me be very specific with my area, since I'm working in a rural school, in a government rural school. So we all know in government schools we have the poorer section of the society, but still there are things that the students, they have, even if they are poor, they have everything in them. And I tell my teachers to churn out what are the innate qualities that they have. We have, at least in government school, I can say that the enrollment is quite good in my school, because with the mushrooming of private schools in and around, I have because my school, I have classes from class 6 to 12. 6 to 12, and of course 11, 12 is we have just one stream, that means arts we have. So in that case, my enrollment is 809, is quite good. It's quite good for a government school. And the infrastructure wise also, my school is, as you can see in the video that has NAT and National Awardee Teachers, they have provided, my infrastructure is also good. The thing is that the teachers have to churn out what are the qualities the children have in them. They are good. The maths teacher has to find out what they're weak in maths. Of course, children at the earlier stage, I find that they are weak in maths. And of course, language is, since it's a vernacular medium of institution, so definitely English also, they find it. So for the children up to, since my classes are from 6 to 12, 6 to 8, we have question papers are given by our school only. So for English especially, since it is an ELTAI, let me speak. I'm literature. I'm a master's in English only. So let me speak about English. I tell the teachers that from 6 to 8, supposing in a syllabus we have 5 poems and 5 prose pieces. So let us not go for all the 10. Let us just take, supposing, 2 poems and 2 prose pieces. I tell the teachers, because the questions we are only going to, our main thing is that we have to learn the alphabets, the sentence construction, the reading thing, the pronunciation. So all these things we can make it possible if we concise the syllabus. So let us take 2 poems and 2 proses and let the children learn everything. So at least when we go to class 9, we have, from 9 we have the district board and all. So they have to face. So all these things, I think these are the things that best practices I tell the teachers to do with the children. And yes, we have achieved our goal. We are able to see the things, the outcome we are able.
Meenakshi,
So,
ma'am, you put it
okay.
very beautifully. First and foremost, that context matters. We must identify the context from which our learners come, because we cannot have best practices in isolation. They wouldn't work.
Yeah.
After that, you are very actively involved as a pedagogical leader, motivating teachers to identify strengths and weaknesses and how to bridge the vulnerabilities so that that can be covered out there, and actively engage not just the numbers which are there, but to provide quality to those students out there. And that is why, like you rightly summed up, the outcomes are getting achieved out here. I'm sure we have responses coming, and Naga Lakshmi ma'am is totally agreeing with you, Meenakshi ma'am, out here.
Yeah, thank you.
Across from India, and we have a huge luminary, and the attendance also has shot up. I'm sure the teachers are motivated by the wonderful panelists and the success that they've achieved in life. With that, now I come over to Om Prakash, sir. Sir, the best practices that have helped you achieve success in the class, in your life. Over to you. Om Prakash, sir, I'll request you to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Sorry. As you ask about the best practices, actually, our teaching is also a best practice. And we have to reintroduce best practices among these practices. Being a science teacher, I focused on projects work. Being a biology teacher, I want to initiate biology from outside the laboratory. As I started the making PBR, that is People's Biodiversity Register. This registered may be prepared by some peoples, may be prepared by students, also the taking of help experts. My students take this initiative along with me, and we visit many field areas and prepare a local biodiversity register. When the time of preparation, these registers, students learn about the plants, about the animals, about the mini creatures, different types of living objects, and they learn about their lifestyles, about their habits, their habitats. This may lead to learn the biology from the field. Second, being a science teacher, I adopted many practices like project methods, as in the form of National Children's Science Congress, Science Fair, etc. At the time of these practices, students learn very much about the science outside the laboratories, because we know in the laboratories there are very much challenges in our society, like human resources, like physical resources. But when we come outside the laboratory, all the nature maybe work like a laboratory. This is my only practices. By the help of these practices, my students learn biology, learn science from their environment.
Uh, Om Prakash sir, it was wonderful. This you initiated with saying that teaching itself is a best practices, a best practice well imbibed because it gives so much value back to the community there. The next part is what is beautiful fact that you brought across is how you have involved the students to take care of it, and you're making the students lead. Yes, so the biodiversity register, you may have experts, you may have grown-ups, but more importantly, you are involving students so that they're doing surveys, they're collecting data, they're observing. So the teaching is not just there in the laboratory, it's all across. We are very enthused by that. Again, we have queries which are coming up. We'll bring them across to the experts and the panelists over there. I would now like to request Jainus Jacob ma'am to share her best practices. And over here, I would like to share with the audience that Jainus ma'am works with the primary students very actively, teaching multiple subjects. And in the spirit of national education policy, she is going to bring across a lot of things here, which will be of value to all of us. Jainus ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much. And coming to the best practices, before that, I would like to say that out of all the pedagogies that we know, my favorite is project-based learning. Because I guess it gives greater scope for the children to explore more. It makes their learning more joyful, experiential, and real. And students have, their advocacy on learning. I also like the principles of constructivism. Mostly my lesson plans and my planning for the day, for the class, is based on the 5E lesson plan. That is, we have the engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. I integrate a lot of subjects into this project-based learning. The questions are mostly open-ended, so that students give their own solutions to it. And I integrate language, math, science, art, craft, music, and ICT into my project-based learning. And that's how I got the first National Award for innovative use of ICT in education. My best practice, I would say that it is comics. I teach using comics. I am in Kerala, where the environment of Hindi is slightly limited. So according to NAP, the FLN is so important. By the time the students reach class 3, they should have the basic minimum levels of literacy and numeracy skills. So what I found was, I also teach Hindi in my school, because I'm a KV student myself and I'm quite fluent at Hindi. So what I found was some children in my class were not good at, they were finding it difficult, not reading disability I'm speaking about reading difficulty in Hindi. So what I did was I transformed the textbook lessons into comics. Now here I use my own skills of drawing illustrations. I'm good at paper and pen, and I'm also good at drawing illustrations digitally. So I transformed the lessons into comics. And so that made the learning of Hindi slightly easier for the students. And not just that, it also developed a kind of love towards books, a love towards stories, reading, and it helped the students to sequence. It helps to help the students to comprehend Hindi language in a simpler way. A little extension of the activity was I taught the students how to create comics of their own. So that was art integration. That's also important according to NEP now. And the last thing I would like to say is I am into filmmaking now. That's a little weird. It might sound a little weird for you all. And we did take part in the 25th Audio Video Children's Film Festival, though we did not win any prizes. But yes, the film that I created was on water conservation. I included all the students of my class, and the movie was really very nice. I wonder why we didn't win prizes. So thank you so much. That was my best practice. Yeah.
Jainus ma'am, over here the audience is again enthused, and we have Nagalakshmi ma'am who's asking you to please repeat the 5 E's again. Yes, if you could.
Yes. It's engage. The first one is engage, 5E. The first one is engage. Then we have the explore, where the students explore, and then they explain. They explain their findings. After they do the research, they explain, and then they elaborate on their findings. And lastly, we evaluate. The teachers evaluate, and when the students share with their findings with the rest of their classmates, the other children also evaluate on their findings. So it's engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. The 5E lesson plan.
5E lesson plans, Jainus ma'am, and we thank Pushpa ma'am who's put that down in the chat box for the others. So it's enumerated. Yes. Yeah. And there are a lot of responses coming, likes coming, Jainus ma'am, because the audience has connected with the 5Es tremendously. Yes. Which brings me to the next question. And we have Meenu ma'am in the audience also, who was asking that, you know, the road to success is never easy. It is filled with challenges. The rewards are great out here. Each one of you must have faced challenges to reach the success that you have achieved out here. If you could share how you overcame those challenges, and what was your insight or reflection out here? What new strengths you discovered in the journey of overcoming challenges? What factors were there which helped you overcome challenges out here? If you could share the same, I'm sure the audience would have the motivation to overcome the challenge that they might face in their workplace. Because yes, it is not easy being a teacher, but it is wonderfully fulfilling to be a teacher. Meenakshi ma'am, we'll start with you.
Again, this is very interesting for me. Since I have to speak on the personal front only, I am convent educated first and foremost, and working in a vernacular medium of school. So initially I had faced really, because since I'm convent educated, English, I find it comfortable. That is, I was in a comfort zone if I speak in English, and I have had the habit of speaking English, where the local teachers, they find as if Meenakshi show off karti hai, something like that, and on. But somehow I felt initially that I think if I keep on listening to them, and if I stop talking in English or speaking in English, I might forget, I might lose the fluency, because even though I was a teacher in between, I am into a lot of things. Actually, I was RJ also in a radio center, All India Radio Center, anchoring for Western music program. And after I joined also, I have been doing all the stage anchoring program, even SSB Army passing out parades. Here I anchor both in English and Hindi, and of course in Assamese, in my mother tongue also. So that challenge I had faced, yes, but I didn't pay heed to what people said. I carried on, and as I was moving along, I have started telling, actually I'm also, prior to my becoming the principal, when I was a PGT English, I was involved by Rashtriya Shiksha Abhiyan for RMSA, Rashtra Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, as a resource person to teach, I mean for training period, training for teachers. So there I also, and now also I say, and to all the teachers or here who have joined, I must say that love for the job. You have to love your job. Once you love the job, yes, you can face any criticism. You are able to face, you can do it. So that is what I love my job. I'm concentrated my job. I have given my 100% to the job, and the basic thing, love for the job.
Meenakshi ma'am, the audience is connecting with you. They're saying that's true, ma'am, that if you love the job, it becomes easy. Yes?
Easy. Once you love the job, you forget. Initially, since it is a rural school, it was very poor, and we didn't have all the infrastructure, but I never complained. Once I got the chance of becoming the principal, then I used all the thing, whatever we get, and I have made my school so nice. Then now people, they see that it is just like private school, like convent school, with uniforms, with good discipline, and all the facilities for the teachers. Yes, and the head of the school makes all the difference. I love my teachers working. I have given them all the facilities. They don't find any difficulty in doing anything. Yes, so if they love the job, they will give the 100%. You have to make the working place, the atmosphere has to be good. They have to love to come to school. So that is the thing.
So Meenakshi ma'am has given a key secret to getting success in school and making school successful, that the children have to look forward to coming to school, staff have to look forward to coming to school, and Meenakshi ma'am herself ensures that in her school, as a pedagogical leader, the working environment is so good that everybody enjoys doing what they do there. Thank you, Meenakshi ma'am, for that insightful look into the way that you manage your school, how you have scripted success for yourself. I would now like to come over to Jainus Jacob ma'am. Jainus ma'am, over here, how did you overcome the challenges? Yes, you shared there were challenges of language, and as a teacher in the primary classes, multiple subjects you have to teach. Yes, you've used every adversity also as an opportunity out there. In the pandemic, we all had to become very tech savvy, and you've not let in the new normal. Technology has not gone away for you. You are making new inroads into it with filmmaking. Yes, not just graphic novel. And you shared that you are very happy with pen and paper. You're very happy with that on the technology part out there. So again, to reach that happy zone, a lot of effort must have gone there. Please share.
Challenges are there for everyone, I guess. They face it on a daily basis, not just teachers, every profession. Challenges, it's a part of life. How well we deal with it, it depends on our abilities. It depends on how creatively and how smartly we deal with these challenges. Now, as I said, I deal with very small children. That age itself, children in that age, it's difficult for teachers to handle that age group of children, because they are not matured enough. They are not smart enough. We have to be with them at every move and at every stage. But that doesn't mean they are not intelligent. They are quite intelligent. They are quite smart. To overcome the challenges, I would say that teachers have to update themselves on a daily basis. If you have not updated yourself, you will be left behind. And if children do not connect with you, they will just forget that there's a teacher that exists. We might be there in front of them, but they might not connect with us, and we'll be left behind. So while planning the lesson, we must plan the lesson on a daily basis in such a way that we anticipate the most intelligent or the most weird questions from the children's side, because they are at that age, they don't hesitate to ask, and we must have an answer to that. So during these COVID times, also, all the teachers in the world, they rose up to the level, they rose up to the occasion, and they learned learned the technology, and they try to be at ease with that, so that they could solve their problems. So as I said, challenges come in plenty, but we must be ready, and we must update ourselves. That's the most important thing. Another thing is, whenever we come across an opportunity, we must not miss it. To be very specific, I would say that sometimes our organization sends our name for kind of professional development courses. We might, sometimes we might not like it, because we also have our family. We might have to leave them and go for the professional development courses. I would advise, take it as an opportunity of learning, instead of thinking that, oh God, I have to go for that course. No, it's an opportunity of learning. And that's what happened way back in 2007. I was sent for a course by Oracle. It was a week-long course, and then we had to do for another 2 months. And I really took it very seriously, because it was all on technology. It was something new for me to learn. And I must say that it is one ICT integration into my teaching that has helped me in many ways as a teacher. Yeah, thank you so much.
Jainus ma'am, we do have a follow-up question here for you, because you very candidly brought forward the struggles, how to balance your work life, how to use opportunities, and the kind of investment it needs of us, of our time, of our energies, of the resources available with us. Yes. So 2 things for all of us. One, to update ourselves, or the choice of being outdated is not a healthy choice for any one of us. out here. The other is use every opportunity that knocks at your door. We would like you to elaborate on the opportunity, or rather, being a Fulbright scholar, not just an opportunity. You have to be very, very deserving to be able to reach there. Yes. So from your journey as a Fulbright scholar, what would you like to share with the audience?
Fulbright scholar, to be chosen for it, you need to have a lot of credits and to your name. They just don't see how you impart knowledge. As I said, standing in the class, what is there in the book, the teacher just says this to the say it to the students. That's not enough. You have to open your mind. You have to bring that into your children as well. The children should be able to think diversely. It is not that there's a question and there's an answer. No, a question should have multiple solutions. A question should have multiple answers. Like when I was a child, I used to think straight, like, okay, not diverse, no diverse thinking. A question hai, uska answer hai. There's a question and there's an answer. There is no other answer to that question. So that is not a thing. You have to think diversely. You have to bring that thinking in students as well. First, what qualities you want in students, first you must have it in you. Okay, so you must have it in your own self. It's only then you can expect that from the children. Without me having it, expecting it from the children is of no meaning at all. Then it is not just about teaching. You have to think in a multiple aspects of teaching you must take into. You have to, from the classroom, you must extend your learning to the outside world. First, you must bring into to the other classes that are there in your own school. And then you have to bring into what you are doing in the class. It should spread to the entire school. Then it should go to the community. Then it should go to the district where you are in. That's how it goes. Like, your teaching should not be restricted only into your classroom. So Fulbright selection was mainly for all the work that I've done. And I think it was 2020. I had completed my 23 years of service then. They had looked into every aspect of the things that I had done. With small children of class 3, I did projects on saving birds. Then I did it on eating right. Then they also asked how you would do that in the US, when you go to the US with US children, with the children in the United States. Because we have to plan a project, and then we have to do that project there, and we have to do a research in a university that we are assigned in the US. So they actually ask for everything in detail. And it is not that you can cook up something and say. It's only when you have done something concrete, it's only then you will be able to actually relate to, and you will be able to communicate, and you will be able to express what you actually do as a teacher. And then there were projects, as I said, on water conservation. Then I had done projects on reading difficulties of the children. It goes on and on. There are lots and lots of projects which I had done, and all that has helped me to get
to reach where you have reached. Yes, so not limiting yourself to what just the syllabus is curtailing out here. Yes, Jainus ma'am has again brought us here to our audience, the importance of earning credits. She started with that, and we can earn that in so many ways here. Not just by teaching the syllabus, but by focusing on projects. And look at the kind of projects that she's done. Ma'am, the whole audience is inspired, from Babita to Nishtha to Smriti, and all those responses are coming across. Birds, nutrition, all those areas you've explored, and no wonder you went across to teach all across the world, and I'm sure the classes were very engaging. Yes, so thank you, Jainus ma'am. We come over to Om Prakash sir. Sir, we would like your thoughts on how you have overcome challenges out there and become such a huge winner. You have awards from innovation to state awards to national awards there. The whole journey, please share with us. Sir, you'll unmute.
And definitely, as we know, the challenges is the way to success. We find challenges everywhere in our life, as in our teaching profession, in our daily life, but we have to overcome these challenges. Before the pre-COVID session, the scope of ICT was very limitations. That time teachers was thinking about how I spread my contained over the class, over the society. That time, only the ICT was the means to communicate outside students. Uh, in that manner, I used ICT in my teaching. Second, being a science teacher, I have to responsibility to develop scientific attitude among my students, among my society. But it is very challenging job.
Yes.
For the uh, find out the success, find out the key, I have written these books.
Okay.
This book is in Hindi, Vaigyanik Drishtikon, how to develop scientific attitude among the students, among the society. In this book, I included more than 200 questions of daily life and their explanations with the help of local science theories, local science explanations by this book. Again, the challenge come. People's asking me, is it available in Hindi? But no, because I am unable to translate in English. Definitely, by the help of challenges, by the facing challenges, we learn and want to find out the way to overcome the challenges. Definitely, I will try to translate in English. This will be my success for my learning after the facing these challenges. These are the challenges and daily life, and only the success is, only the mantra is to face the challenge and try to overcome by your own practices.
Own
That's-
practices. Great,
Yes.
great. Not to be cowed down by challenges out there.
Yeah.
Be courageous, face them.
Yeah.
And again, each one will have to face our own challenge. Nobody else can face the challenge on
Yeah,
our
yeah.
behalf. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Om Prakash sir, you've overcome many challenges, and I'm sure we'll have very soon the Scientific Temperament 2.0 in English also, because it's just a step away from you. You've already made the book in Hindi, and now the English version will be dearly awaited, because the reach can be across to so many more across there. Yes. So Om Prakash sir, thank you again. The audience is very appreciative, sir, of the hard work, and they're saying it's both motivational and inspiring for everybody, because sometimes we tend to become limited, like frogs in a well, thinking that our challenges are the greatest, and there are challenges all around, and every day there are people who are overcoming those challenges. Yes. So the Patil ma'am is sharing that this is a wonderful webinar. She's thanking ELTAI, and I am also getting motivated here. Ayushi is also inspired there. So the whole chat box is on fire. Jamila ma'am is stating it's so useful here. And yes, there is more in the goodness, because my next question to the wonderful panelists is on time management. There is so much that we need to do. Yes, you are very, very successful professionals. And yes, demands of work and demands of personal life, we all need to balance. So Meenakshi ma'am, what is your mantra to balance and bring that success to everybody around you?
First and foremost, positive. We have to be positive and happy with what we have, not to compare ourselves with anyone, not to compare. If once we compare that, look at her life is much better than mine, then I think no one will be able to move ahead. Yes, we have to compete, no doubt, but compare once we compare. I don't compare myself with anyone. Though my best friend is drawing much more salary than me, maybe, but I don't count, because I think I am the best. I'm working in the best place. I'm placed in the best position. Then once that mantra is there, I am happy. I'm almost going to be 60, but I'm a very lively person. So I don't think that I will be 60 in 2 years. I'm 58 plus. So that is only because that's why I don't feel the lethargic of going to school, working there. And yes, I'm into the cultural side also. As for the national award, when I said I have to give my target point, what are the I worked on 3 things: educating the girl child means I encourage the girl child. Initially, my school was a boys' school, but I took the challenge of admitting girls also. Since now the government schools allow both boys and girls, so girls are coming. So that is my prime. Then I have that enrollment in government schools are decreasing, so I'm faced that challenge also. So that also I have told my teachers, please admit your children in the school you work, and once, because then you will prove yourself to be good teachers. And yes, my teachers are doing that, so that has helped me also. And the other thing is that preserving ethnic culture and to promote that ethnic culture. Though we are now, we are all modern, we tend to forget our roots. So I think that everyone, we Indians, we have our roots, and we have to do something for our own culture. So for that, every year we celebrate our own Bihu. If Assamese people are there in the group, they will see that in my school every year during January we have Mag Bihu, we say Mag Bihu, and that I celebrate it in my school. And there also we have the skill, it includes for skill development of the children. So we have the thing that during the Mag Bihu, they bring their own ethnic cuisine to prepare in the school itself, and that itself is very inspiring. And yes, for that, in that case, I can also say that I was a winner of state award also in 2018, and Oil Shiksha Ratna Purashkar award in 2016 by Oil. So for Oil, when Oil gave me, Oil India Limited, they gave me the award. They have just they just inquired about what I have given for the society. So these are the things that I have given for the society, apart from teaching and
that's
giving.
wonderful there.
So that I have been, yeah.
Is giving comments on the positivity, the energy, the exuberance, and the celebrations that you bring to the school there. And Jamila ma'am, you're joining us from Uzbekistan. Like you're sharing that you eagerly await the ELTAI webinars. We also eagerly await the presence of the August teachers from all across the world. Meenu ma'am, thank you for your kind words. Each one is appreciating what you've brought here. Meenakshi ma'am, here to all of us. The first part of positivity and happiness, it's so important to keep that in our perspective at all points of time. Yes. Jainus ma'am, I come over to you next. Yes. Your tips and tricks for time management so that we lead a wonderful life here.
There's just one thing: plan well ahead of time. Like, when it comes to school, you have to plan an year before. Like what I'm going to do the entire year, what are the targets, what are the things that I'm going to achieve at the end of the year, and then you work on a daily target. Like, today what I'm going to do at the end of the day, what are the things that I have to, and then what I do is when there are too many things, I make a checklist, and then I just go on checking what are the things that I've done, not done, will be carried forward to the next day. I'll try to do it the very same day. Another thing, when it comes to time management, I would like to say that we as teachers, we must inculcate the habit of punctuality in our children. Punctuality is the most important thing in today's time. If you are not punctual, you'll be left behind. That is one important quality that we must try to develop in our own children. Be very strict if they are not on time, so that they know the importance of time. Thank you.
Jainus ma'am, we will not let you off so easily here. Why? Because you've been very crisp, you've been very focused. Yes, throughout the webinar, I'm sure the audience has noticed that. And that's a learning for all of us to take along. The first part, what you've brought, the importance of planning. Yes, we need to be very, very pertinent and very alert so that we are going with the flow in the class. But that does not mean that we land up to the class without planning for what we hope to achieve, because if the goal is not there, it's never going to be achieved. The second part, what you've brought again, these are universal values across the world, across the universe. Punctuality, being on time will help us achieve our goals. Otherwise, we're going to miss the bus or the spacecraft or whatever vehicle that was there here for us. Over here, what helps you stay so focused, Jainus ma'am? You've said there are checklists, yes, that have helped you, what you managed to accomplish, what is still pending on the list, and how that can be achieved. Could you give us a little bit more input into that before I come over to Prakash sir, to close for the day there? Yes.
Yes, I would like to say today's thing. I have made a checklist for the things that I have to do. After this ELTAI webinar, there are 3 more things which I have to check, I have to complete. So that's too many things. If we have an inspection coming up this week, today's webinar was one. Then I have to, a lot of things that I have to update myself on, and then I have to complete some registers for the inspection. So these things, if you don't write it down, you might forget. Another thing is, that is punctuality is one quality that the people around you observe. If you are punctual and if you are not, like both ways. And when I went to the US, that is one thing which I found was people are punctual. Now, if there is a guest speaker coming, exactly at 10, the door would open and the speaker would get in. He will speak for an hour, and then exactly at 11, the speaker would go out. Not a minute here, not a minute there. And here I find people still lack the quality of punctuality. So, when I ask my children to be punctual, I show that I am punctual. It's only then the children would see that, okay, my teacher is punctual, the teacher would be there, I should not be late. And if they are late, they have to give a reason for why they are late. So, you have to bring in that quality of punctuality. We must not make others point out that, okay, you are not punctual. That's a very bad quality. And if we have, we must try to get rid of that. Sooner the better. So, and as you said, I'm very crisp. I'm always, the time thing is there always in my mind.
Yes,
It's
yes.
always in my mind, yes.
So over that time, because yes, the period may be of 40 minutes or the lecture may be of 1 hour, that time has to be valued, Jainus ma'am. We've learned tremendously through this interaction with you over here. And Manju Girish has actually put that down, also documented it in the chat box. The audience is very receptive to what you've brought here. We are very grateful to it. The link has been posted for the members here as they were requesting. And I now come over to Prakash sir. Sir, your thoughts on time management. What has worked for you? Sir, you'll unmute? Yes, sir. Prakash sir, you'll unmute. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to show this instrument. This is the watch. This gives us time, but it's don't give us time management. We know that some person having more time and some person having less time. What? It depends on the time management. For example, you want to take 1 cup tea from without making tea, then you have to choose from another 10 cup tea, 1 spoon from each cup. You will be get a 1 cup tea without the disturbing others, without disturbing other cups. This is the management.
Yes.
And as the Jacob ma'am got the punctuality planning, these are the success to manage the time and find out the time for our activities. Secondly, as the Lord Krishna says, Karmanye Vahadikarasya ma phalesu kadachan. We have to focus on our work. Don't look about the result. Definitely, it will manage our time. It will the way to success for our work.
Work here. Prakash sir, thank you so much. My request to the admin, the technical team out there, if you could make the feedback form responsive out there, we'll need to look into it. I'll come back to Prakash sir here. That sir, again, you showed us a watch out there. Each one is issued, each one of us is issued 24 hours in a day. What we make of it depends on us. Yes, and only if we value time, time will value us. And yes, that brings us to the closure of this ELTAI webinar, where I am very happy to let everybody know that we have ELTAI webinar 105 scheduled for 27th of November 2022, where the topic is Edward said, musical thinker, cultural critique. We have wonderful resource person like Dr. Saroja Ganapati. Our moderator is Dr. Vaibhav Sabnis, and our host is Mr. Susai Ratnam. Out here, wonderful educators, teachers, and the whole galaxy of people who've joined today. We look forward to your presence to make this ELTAI Webinar 105 very successful, so that we all learn to make this community a very enriched one there. Thank you so much, each one of you. A special thanks to ELTAI family out here, Vinod sir, Kavin sir, Om Prakash sir, Jainus ma'am, Meenakshi ma'am, for very honestly sharing with us the recipe to become successful in our life. And again, our interactions, I'm sure, will go a long way in making us successful. Thank you so much. With that, we come to the closure of our ELTAI webinar. I'm very grateful to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ELTAI.
Thank you so much, ma'am.